What if the future of the NBA was revealed at a poker table? Not in a secret meeting, not in a bombshell interview, but rather between colorful chips, backstage laughter, and uncontrollable excitement that slipped from someone who should have been guarding San Francisco's most well-kept secret. The phrase came out fast, almost like someone whispering a last-minute plan. Draymond, I think we're getting Kevin Durant. It's happening. That night, what seemed like just a charity event hosted by the Warriors, a poker tournament with the roster gathered, press relaxed, a casual vibe, may have turned into the beginning of one of the most explosive stories of this offseason. And the most unbelievable part? That spark didn't come from a reporter. It didn't come from a leak. It came straight from Joe Lacob, the owner of the Golden State Warriors himself, right into the ears of Draymond Green, in the middle of the room, in the middle of everything. That's where this story begins. The Warriors season ended earlier than expected. Yes, they fell short of a deep playoff run, but compared to projections at the start of the year, the final result was better than anticipated. The team managed to reinvent itself amid chaos, found competitiveness, and above all, dared to dream. The arrival of Jimmy Butler mid-season was proof that the franchise still has championship ambition, that it refuses to fade quietly, that it will go all the way. But most importantly, that move reignited something that had been dormant. The Warriors' aggressive DNA started to breathe again. And when that identity resurfaces, anything can happen. Even a name that once seemed impossible to bring back, Kevin Durant. If you live and breathe NBA at a high level, drop a short-term, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Because here, you won't just hear what everyone is already talking about. You'll hear what's being whispered quietly between the lines in the rooms where the league's future is drawn, often by accident, during a lighthearted and humorous appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Draymond Green shared something with the public that no insider had revealed before, a casual, almost innocent conversation that happened between him and Joe Lacob during that Warriors charity poker tournament. Draymond recalls, I had just seen Joe Lacob. He calls me over and says excitedly, Draymond, I think we're getting Kevin Durant. It's happening. And I got hyped. But 2 minutes later, he comes back saying, I shouldn't have said that. Don't tell anyone. I said, Joe, it's with me? What was supposed to be just a moment of enthusiasm became fuel for a rumor that had been growing for weeks. And now, because of an accidental conversation, it had shape, color, and weight. But the funniest and most revealing moment was still to come. A few minutes later, already at the tournament table, Draymond hears Steph Curry shout from across the room, Draymond, did you see the trade? Convinced that Lacob had been serious and that KD's return was real, Draymond immediately responds. It happened? Steph, confused, asks, who? Draymond tries to backtrack. Nothing. What happened? Steph replies, Luka got traded. And just like that, in seconds, chaos was unleashed inside Draymond's head, and probably in the imagination of every Warriors fan who hears this story. But this is where the most important point lies. That comment from Joe Lacob might have been a slip, or it might have been a sign. Because meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Kevin Durant's situation with the Phoenix Suns is far from stable. The team failed once again. A roster full of star names, but no results. And when expectations go unmet, doubt starts creeping in, the noise begins, and with it, eyes begin to look outward. At 36, KD is still one of the league's deadliest players, but he's also a player who needs the right environment, one who seeks legacy, who knows what it takes to win, and what it means to lose because of wrong decisions made around him. And Golden State was always that place. There, Durant was a finals MVP. There, he became a champion. There, he helped build a perfect machine alongside Curry, Clay, and Draymond. But it was also there that he experienced the most public conflict of his career. The heated argument with Draymond that echoed for months and marked his departure in 2019. But time changes everything. Draymond's lightheartedness in telling the story on the show, the laughter, his willingness to make public a conversation that once would have been buried. All of it points to a scenario where old wounds may have healed, where perhaps for the first time, Kevin Durant's return isn't just a dream, but a real possibility. Now look, this doesn't mean a trade is being finalized. There's no confirmation, no offer. There's only noise. Noise coming from the right place, from inside the organization, from the owner himself. And if there's one thing we've learned from the Warriors over the past decade, it's that they don't plant seeds for nothing. So the only question now is, should the Warriors really go after Kevin Durant again, leave the past behind, rebuild the bridges, and bring together the talent needed for one more title run? Or would it be wiser to preserve the team's new identity, double down on Jimmy Butler and the current core, and avoid reliving a relationship that once cracked? The answer might come in the next few weeks. Or maybe in another offhand conversation, on an ordinary night, with chips on the table and secrets still slipping through. Let us know in the comments what you would do if you were Joe Lacob. Bring KD back or turn the page for good. But while Kevin Durant's name lingers like a seductive ghost from the past, the Warriors front office is also looking ahead to the now, to the kind of talent that may not carry the weight of a Finals MVP, but could be the missing link between what was and what still can be. Because at this very moment, with Jimmy Butler already dressed in blue and gold, with Steph still carrying the dynasty's flame, and Draymond Green witnessing the NBA transforming before his eyes, the Golden State Warriors need to decide what kind of team they want to be. And in this dilemma between nostalgia and reinvention, a name emerges that doesn't have a superstar resume, but has something this team lost since 2023. Coby White. The transition began when Jordan Poole was traded to the Wizards. At the time, the trade seemed necessary. Chemistry issues, questionable decisions, and inconsistency that threatened everything the Warriors had built. But the truth is that since then, the team has lost an important part of its defensive identity. Someone other than Curry capable of breaking down defenses with the dribble. Brandon Podziemski showed improvement, especially after the All-Star break. Jimmy Butler brought physicality, competitiveness, and an immediate impact on the court. But something is still missing. What's missing is a natural creator, a player who can take the ball in the last 5 seconds on the clock and make something out of nothing. And that's exactly what Coby White delivered in Chicago last season. At only 25 years old, White reached his peak. 20.4 points, for 0.5 assists, 3.7 rebounds, nearly 1 steal per game. Numbers that not only impress, but carry even greater weight when you look at the Bulls' context. Despite still playing at a high level, and constant restructuring, represents a short-term searching for identity, balance, and now apparently willing to let go of one of its most productive talents. According to Sporting News, the Chicago Bulls are inclined to renew with Josh Giddey, which puts Coby White in a gray zone of uncertain future. And in this vacuum of decisions, the Warriors see an opportunity. Behind the scenes, the mood is one of silent urgency. Talks, still informal, revolve around a package that includes Moses Moody Santos and a future first-round pick. A considerable price, but not exorbitant, considering what's at stake. Moody is promising, defensively solid, and still has room to grow. Santos is a developing asset. The future pick? A calculated risk. But the return, that one could be decisive. White isn't just a scorer. He is an offensive engine, someone who creates off the dribble, penetrates, shoots consistently, and takes some responsibility off Curry's shoulders, something that, as the years go by, becomes increasingly necessary. And most importantly, his contract expiring in 2026 gives the Warriors some maneuvering room. It's not an all-in move with no return. It's aggressive but still strategic, and the potential impact is hard to ignore. Imagine a starting five made up of Curry, White, Butler, Wiggins, and Draymond, with Podziemski and Kuminga coming off the bench. A team that mixes veteran savvy, explosiveness, physical defense, and now, finally, reliable offensive creation outside of Steph's hands. Dean Simon, who follows the team's inner workings closely, wrote plainly, This could be the kind of trade nobody sees coming, but that completely changes the Western Conference hierarchy. And it makes sense, because what the Warriors need isn't another star to share the spotlight. They need a fit, someone who understands their role, amplifies the talents around them, and fills gaps without demanding the ball every possession. And while the whole world keeps speculating about Kevin Durant, while headlines focus on superstars, Golden State may be quietly drawing up a move that escapes the spotlight, but wins games in May and June. Of course, there's a cost. Losing Moody Affect's wing rotation. Giving up a first-round pick takes away future flexibility. But the plan is to win now. While Curry still dictates the pace of a game like few in history, this is the kind of bet that has to be made. And the window is closing. Jimmy Butler is more determined than ever to win a ring. He didn't come to the Bay Area to compete in the play-in. He wants a championship. And White's arrival not only reinforces that commitment, but also sends a clear message to the rest of the league. The Warriors aren't ready to disappear. They're just reconfiguring. Now I want to know what you would do if you were in the front office. Would you send Moody and a future pick for Coby White, knowing the impact he could make? Or would you wait for something bigger? Maybe even a twist involving Durant? Leave your opinion here in the comments. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell, because in the next video we'll explore the 3 most underrated names the Warriors have on their radar to complete this roster. Because in the NBA's chess game, the king doesn't always decide the match. Sometimes it's the knight that changes everything.